Client accounts in relation to property management companies. This is in addition to the video I've posted here. What is a client account and do you actually need one? I'm digging into this question here about management companies. So firstly, I want to make the distinction between being a property manager, even having a property management company in place for your own properties, and managing properties for money for other clients that aren't yours as a business, as a service. So you don't need client accounts if you're just collecting your own money. If you've got a rent-to-rent company, even if it's doing things like leasing, if you're collecting it for your own property and it's not external people, you don't need a client account by law. Specifically, morally, not obligated to have one. You may want one because it means that client accounts, the HMRC can't take that money out, but you are going to need to prove to a bank, and you can't get them from banking providers like Tide, etc. It's normally a mainstream bank, a well-established high street bank. If you are doing it for other people and charging fees for that, you will need a dedicated client account as a manager here. So I'll take the example of Pillow because it's the easiest thing I can do. We have two different client accounts. One is for residential lettings, tenants. That's totally different. That is regulated. That is separate from what I'm talking about here, which is a client account for short-term rental income. Now, if you're scaling a property management business up to 20, 30, 50 properties, things get very complicated with your bank accounts very quickly. Why? Multiple transactions in, multiple transactions out. Funds, your rental money cannot go into your business bank account. It cannot be mixed. It needs to go to a separate area. It needs to be held totally separate to any of your business transactions. So this is a dedicated client account, a ring-fenced client account. Not all banks will give this. We've got multiple ones. I think we've got one with Virgin, one with HSBC, one with Barclays, had one with NatWest, and another one HSBC. Did I say that? So we've got multiple client accounts just because we want lots. They're not easy to get. You need to prove. You need to go through a certain level of due diligence. So if you're wanting it for your own operations, just to have it in your own client account, you probably won't get it. You're going to need to be registered in the question talks about professional affiliations. So you're going to need client money protection insurance. You're going to need certain things to qualify for this ring-fenced client account. The video mentions the difference, but essentially the HMRC can't dig into that. Nothing can happen to that because it's ring-fenced client account. Client funds, meaning that your bank fees don't come out of this. You need to set up a separate account for your bank fees to come out of your main business account. So if there's £1,000 of client fees in, the bank's never going to nip in and say, I'm taking £20 worth of fees, because that's paying your bank fees from client money, which is against the law. It's theft. We don't want to do it. So you've got your dedicated client account. You went through the due diligence process, and that is there. So why did it become complicated? Because you think of a standard short-term rental property. You could have a couple of guests a week. So let's say you could have up to 10 guests. That's 10 payments going in per property per month. Now, those will come in different methods at different timeframes. And people might be paying money direct into the bank account, which comes in straight away. People could be paying money via Stripe, which comes in up to 7 days later from when you took the booking. You could have Airbnb, which is released 24 hours after check-in. You've got payments by booking.com, all of these different things. You could have standing orders set up with companies if it's long-term insurance payments, lots of these different methods coming into your bank. So in this question, you're already linked to Xero. Fantastic. You're going to be linking to two different accounts, one for your business account, one here for your client account, and you need to match everything off. So number one is all this money coming in. You need to account for every single line entry, and it isn't just as easy as, oh, there's a guest paid £1,000 for that stay. If it's a direct booking, nice. But Airbnb will be bulk transferring you money. Booking.com will be bulk transferring you money. You need to separate these payments out and allocate them, hopefully in your property management software, to the right people, marking them as paid so that you don't pay money out that you haven't received. And this money comes in arrears, so it can get very complicated very fast. Now, for those guys that are part of Powered by Pillow, this is all done for you. Your hosts get paid at the end of the month. The contracts get paid, you get your commission. So it's all simplified. But if you're doing it yourself, you've got your client account, your money comes in. Next thing is your client's expenses. Again, it sounds easy. I'll just take my fees and any money and pay my host. That's nice and simple. Because the money coming in from various sources. Let's take £100. So £100, you're taking 20% management fee, there's £20 worth of cost, your host gets 60. You collect the money, you do your statements at the end of the month via your property management software, and it correlates everything you put in. We'll make it simple and rounding up and down. £100 in rent, £20 for your management fee, you save that to last, £20 for the cleaner, £60 to the host. But they've not received £60 in rental income. They've earned £100, but you need to show that there's OTA fees, so minus their commission. So A and B probably haven't given you the £100. They've retained some of that minus their commission. Booking.com, for example, will have given you the gross amount, but you need to pay the host the net amount because they invoice you separately, so that invoice will come in separate. You need to match the two up so that you're not paying hosts out gross. You're paying them net minus Booking.com fees. And again, I say this because we made these mistakes in the early years, and over the years, well over £500,000 of money we've paid out to hosts we never received because our client accountant was not as good as it is today. It's bulletproof today, but there's layers of complexity to this. So your hosts, you've paid money out to all the contractors, to your hosts. They've had their statements. The contractors have had their money. Now the money that's left, you to transfer as fees. Now in a perfect world, £100,000 will go into your account, your client account on money. I'll make it nice and simple. Again, same numbers, times 1,000, so 100 grand in. Your money goes out to host, that's 60,000, £20,000 in expenses. The money left is £20,000. Your property management software will say you've got £20,000 in fees. You then transfer that from your client account, other people's money, but that is left is your money. Legitimately, you transfer that to your business account. So £20,000 comes from your business, from the client account into your business account. Now I'm rounding these figures up, meaning that at the start of the month, there's no money in for bookings. Then at the end of the month, of all this money, you've paid it out and it should be zero. Now, that's in the perfect world doesn't always exist. Why? Because months cross over, bookings cross over months. You need to separate them, you need to split them. Stripe might pay you 7 days later, so you can't pay your hosts out until you get the money. So there could be refunds, there could be credit card clawbacks, all of these things that a guest could check in on your host expecting that money, and then they get a refund because something breaks, and Booking.com relocates them. So there's layers of complexity to all of this. So it is not an easy thing to run. However, if you've got the right systems, you can do it. So certain things you need to get the client accounts, as you say, professional affiliations, we get professional indemnity insurance, client money protection, CMP. So these are all the things you need. Now, for guys that are part of Pillow, they don't even need to do any of this because it's all done. The finance team here do it. They get the money at the end of the month. So we've just paid out, last week paid for July. So at the end of July, we start doing the statements. The property managers check it, the hosts check it to make sure it's okay. We make sure all the money is in, ticked in the property management system, it's in the bank, and then we pay the host. So I think starting on the 4th of the month, we start paying the host for the previous month. So as a property manager with Pillow, essentially it's done for you. Our finance team, you sign it off to say that's right for that property, beautiful. You've put your invoices in for your cleaners, everything's up to date. You're happy with the figures that are there. Our finance team sit and pay all of this. It goes into our client accounts. You don't need to worry about that. It's all done for you. That's part of the Pillow by Pillow thing, is the client accounts. It's a massive part of it. And we will pay your host. Your host gets paid over. All the contracts will get paid over. Contractors will get paid over, matched to their invoices. So that's good. And then you will get your management fees at the end of that. So saving 95% of the admin of everything that you've asked there is all done for you. Now, if you're doing that yourself, you just learn that yourself. You get processes, you allocate the time to it. But hopefully that answers your question. Anything else, guys, from anybody else watching this too, comment and let me know. But hopefully that answers the questions there.